This week's Piltch Point with Avram Piltch is proudly powered by Monster Products. The headphones on my head right now, the Monster Elements, available in on-ear, in-ear, and full over-ear as well. But of course, that's not the only thing that they make. They make a whole line of headphones and earbuds, whether you're looking for little earbuds that you can work out with, or bigger speakers that you can use in your living room or carry with you, from the tiny hot shot all the way up to the Monster Blaster. They've got all kinds of speakers as well, and of course all of the cables and all of the power to connect these and all of the other devices in your life, whether it be your home theater or your computer, are all available by going to PLUGHITZlive.com/monster. And that music means that it is time for the Piltch Point with online editorial director of Laptop Magazine and Tom's Guide, Avram Piltch. Avram!
Hey! So, cut right to the chase. every now and again, we get, well, I wouldn't say every now and again, but it's always cool to get a product like a little bit early. Although I wouldn't say it's early because it's actually out, but it just came out like 2 days ago, so I don't think so what I have here is the Ubitech First Order Stormtrooper robot. It is a robot.
It's a robot.
As you can see, it's about, what, a foot tall or so?
Give or take.
So let's turn this on, and it has to actually boot up. So here, I'll try to angle down here so you can... maybe not. Let's see. All right. So that's like, you know, when you have your printer and you turn it on and it just, like, you know, moves around a lot for, like, annoyingly for 5 minutes.
That's so funny, because that's exactly what I was just thinking.
I actually really hate that on printers, but and it's really mainly inkjets that do that, right? I mean, that's...
Yeah.
So anyway, wait, he's still booting up. Look at that. Anyway, okay, so, all right.
Operating numbers received, Commander. Stand by while I secure communications.
Oh, it says stand by while I secure communications. Why? Because you need a tablet app to use this thing. So,
okay.
let me show you the tablet app. So, whoa, where's the tablet app? So right now, this is going to be available for Android as well, but at this very moment, it is only on iPad, so I have an iPad Pro here. So this is the app. It just came out, and unfortunately, it doesn't have a ton of functionality. So first thing first, it connects to the robot. Now it doesn't do it via Bluetooth. It does it via Wi-Fi over your router, or you can do Wi-Fi direct to it. So now it is saying over here, incoming transmission. It appears you and your trooper are ready to go, or whatever. So you hit this button. Now you can actually do a face capture on this, and it will scan your face, which unfortunately took like 5 tries. The robot has facial recognition. So to take a step back, here's what the robot actually has, right? It's a bipedal robot, so its legs move. Its arms move, but hands can't really do anything. I mean, there's a gun it comes with, but it can't do anything with it. It does voice recognition because it has microphones and speaker.
Okay.
And it has an IR camera / kind of, I guess, regular camera under here or I guess right here, that it can use to, I don't know, maybe it isn't an IR camera. It has a camera that it uses for facial recognition. They didn't say IR, so I should be careful about that. Anyway, so once you do it and you hit take command, let's say I've already scanned my face, because the face scanning part is annoying. You don't have to. There's 3 things that you can do with this basically right now. There is training, mission, and sentry modes. So training, let's go through these real quick. So training mode. Maybe I'll turn down the volume on this a little bit. Let's see. Oops, that was up. Okay, now it's mute. So anyway, He'll still talk, though. This is the volume on the app.
Sure.
So you hit the thing, you hit the send order button. And now I have a choice. This is basically the programming part, but it doesn't really, they say that in the summer, maybe next summer, they'll actually have like a block-based coding language that you can use to really program this.
Okay.
Right now, it's really, really basic stuff. So you have this thing where you can, practice here just means move them around like remote control. And if I do the practice mode, let's try the practice mode just for the heck of it. It says ready for a practice run. You'll see here that this is just like I can just move him around using this like on-screen joystick, and it's supposed, oh, here, let me turn it on. You'll be able to see that you can actually, it's very meta, I know. You can actually see what he sees. So, but you can't, so he's moving, and I'm moving him, and I can also use this to like move his head. This little eye thing here to move his head. So moving him around, it doesn't capture video, it doesn't capture stills. You can do a screen capture though, but using standard iOS way of screen capturing, but it doesn't, apparently Disney, who licenses this to Ubi Tech, is very concerned about privacy, so they don't build any recording into it. Anyway, so you have various actions you can assign him. Here's one I did, and it just basically has him turn his head and say something, or turn his body and say something. So, and like here's where you create them. So like here's create action. It says ready to learn a new action, and if I go in here, right, you'll see that like there's a bunch of like different categories of action, like action, recon, security. And then you basically a bunch of quotes you can say, and then you like, oh, I want to create a new action. Great. I'm going to create an action where he says, Commander, sensors indicate targets or an area, and where he shrugs his shoulders, and then I'm going to save that, and then I can use it in the next section where he walks around. I mean, I'm not too impressed with having him shrug his shoulders or walk a little bit and say something. And not something, you can't design what he says. There's like a set of maybe, I don't know, several dozen things he can say.
Sure.
So that's the training mode. Then there's the mission mode, which is arguably the coolest, the best, the most fun mode, but it kind of begs you the question of why you actually need the robot. So what you do is, so what this is, okay, so I can have easy, normal, or hard. Right now, there's only one mission zone I can go to, and that's Jakku. Although they told me when I met with the folks at Movie Tech that they're going to add content over time. They're going to add lots of content to this over time, they say. So maybe that will, add more levels and more interesting stuff. So I'm just going to say, I'll just go the easy, whatever. So what it says here is we've discovered resistance activity on Jakku. Go find some data tapes and destroy some rebels. So what it does is it gives you this map, right? And you can see and watch, and you tell it like where to go on the map. So, okay, I want to go to this part here, right? So I'm going to have him go like this. I'm going to move him because he's probably going to so see, I put that on there, told him where to go. Now I'm going to hit this button here to make it happen. Now look at what I see on this. Besides looking at him, look at what I see on the screen. So it's a weird AR thing where you see Jakku, but you also see my window here that he's walking towards.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that's weird about this is, though, that there's actually no reason to see my window here. Like, I've seen some AR games where, stuff flies onto the real world.
Right.
But here, if the sky were blue instead of being my house, it would make no difference. Right, to the game. So I think he's having a problem because he's stuck. One sec. He's stuck because I've got stuff over there. He's actually supposed to be smart and stop himself when he hits an object, but apparently maybe not. Actually, I don't know if it's to stop himself when he hits an object or stop himself from falling. We'll see. So anyway, when he gets to where he's going, so again, the robot is walking, but you could argue that I would argue that you could play a first-person perspective game like this with no robot, and it would be about the same experience.
Yeah.
So once he gets there, he's a little confused because again he's walking into the keyboard that I have here. Let's see, move him a little bit. Maybe he'll chill out now. Come on. So when he gets to where he's supposed to go, you'll see. Okay, he's finally gonna get to where he's supposed to go. All right. So when he gets to where he's supposed to go, you're gonna see something. Like there'll be something to do. So like. Okay, so he says. Sensors indicate targets in the area. Do you want to conduct a search? So now what you do is you hit this thing that looks like an eyeball, and then you see there's like a little crosshairs on the screen, and you move it around, and he actually does move his head, but you know what really matters to the game is that what the perspective is in the game. So you look around, and then eventually you'll find, if you move your head enough, you'll find a rebel ship or something, a rebel or a data tape. Okay. And if it's a rebel ship, you hit a button to destroy it. The robot actually doesn't really do anything except say like good job or whatever. And on the screen, you see lasers shooting down to shoot the rebel ship. So basically the whole game is you walk around this board, you shoot the rebel ships that you see indicated by the two rebel symbols, and you pick up the data tapes that you see indicated by the data tape symbols. And that's the game. So let's go back and let me just show you the last mode, the Sentry mode. Do I want to quit this mission? Yes, I do. Thank you. Yes, let me quit the mission. All right. Finally, there's Sentry mode. Okay. Says, so what Sentry mode is this, right? You can start a patrol or create a patrol. What's a patrol? It's basically having him walk on the floor and walk around the floor and look for people. And if it runs into a person, it will see if it can facially recognize them from having scanned them before. So like if I create a patrol here, I will, like have him walk a little bit or something. And then I think I have to add the part where I actually prompt you for, it's the part where I prompt you for, I think, let's try this. Start this patrol. Receiving his commands, and we'll start shortly. So, okay. Okay, so.
Hold it. Something's not right here.
So he said, hold it, something's not right here.
Step forward and look into my visor for identification.
It says, step forward and look into my visor for identification. So that's where he does this, the face scan of you, right? So I'm going to look at him.
Step forward and tell me the passcode.
Now it asks me for the passcode.
Okay.
I don't know the passcode.
Not clear. Leave this area now.
So he says, leave this area now, rebel scum. If you say the passcode, he says, carry on.
Okay.
So that's the game. That's what it does. So those are all the features that I just showed you of this robot. In the future, it's supposed to have new action levels. You'll be able to program it. And we talked about, that it's got, that it can walk, it can move its arms, but not pick up things with these hands. And it has a camera and microphones and a speaker. And by the way, the battery life on this is actually pretty good. It's supposed to last about 2 hours, and we've used it on an awful lot, and it didn't run out of juice too easily. And it charged up fully in like an hour. So battery life is pretty good. So now, my first question to you, how much do you think this is worth, and what would you pay for it?
How much do I think it's worth, or how much do I think it goes for?
Okay, let's say goes for.
Let's see. The BB-8 Hero is $149. The regular BB-8 MSRP is $99. This doesn't have the majority of what that has, but it does have the Star Wars name on it. I'm going to guess that its retail is probably $69.
Dollars?
Yes.
Okay. Go up a lot. A lot.
Am I off by half?
Oh boy, you're off by a lot.
Oh no.
This is $299.
No.
This is $299.
No.
So in talking to the folks at Tech, who, by the way, Tech makes some great stuff. They make the Jimu robots, which are wonderful learning kits. Some of those are actually started under $100. They make the Lynx robot, which is Alexa-powered robot. And technologically, inside this robot has. All right. Okay. He says he lost communication because this probably went to sleep. So, technologically, and they were saying how expensive it is to build a robot with these components. Making it they said it would have been a lot less expensive if it had wheels instead of feet, instead of being bipedal. And I'm sure it does cost them a fair amount to make, but I don't know who will want to spend $300 for it at this point.
When I worked for Radio Shack, we had what they called the Roboraptor, which was a two-legged RC Raptor thing, and it retailed for like $69 10 years ago. So they can't blame too much of it on being a two-legged thing. If WowWee was able to do it a decade ago for $69.
Yeah, I honestly, don't know. How can we ever know how much something really costs to make unless, we see some secret company document? Obviously, they're also paying a lot for the license, for the IP licensing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
because they didn't have the benefit that Sphero had of getting the license to make the BB-8 remote control guys for cheap because they built the real one for the film.
Oh, is that so? Yeah, I don't know. Another thing to know about this robot is it was supposed to come out a while ago, and they just managed to like, I don't know. I think people were expecting it. At least I think people were expecting it to come out sooner. And the company came, just put it out to ship on like December 20th or December 21st.
Oof.
Now, if you're planning to release something for the holiday season, you usually don't come out with it 5 days before Christmas.
Yeah. No, November 20th, maybe. Not December 20th.
So, it does feel like they were, it does feel a little bit like they were trying to get it out the door.
Uh-huh.
Because, the first version of the app that we tried actually had a lot of connectivity problems the same day, on yesterday. And then the same day, when we wrote to them, they said, wow, this thing isn't connecting at all. And then the same day they said, hey, we uploaded a new version of the app. And like at night, it worked a lot better than during the day.
Interesting.
So, and I know this was announced a while ago. So, and, like I said, the Android version's not out yet, and they say they're going to add a lot more content next year. So, I guess it really depends. I wouldn't say that nobody should ever get this, but I guess it really depends on, do you really like the premise of having a Stormtrooper robot, and just how much does $300 mean to you? I suppose if, because it does seem like I would want more functionality out of anything that I bought for $300.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose they could add more levels to that thing, and they could add more actions, and they will eventually add coding, which I think will definitely improve the value of this a great deal, because if kids can use it to learn to code, that certainly makes it interesting, more interesting. But I feel like even if it was had a lot more functionality, the price would be very high for what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
But you tell me, does that seem like, would you get this for $100?
Would I? No. But I'm not a big Star Wars fan, so I'm probably not a great example, but
you know,
the idea of it is certainly interesting, and if they opened up, particularly if they opened up the API for it and allowed me to do my own programming to it, because that's the thing that's made Sphero successful, is that, you know, you can use their app, you can use their things, but you can also open up Visual Studio and do whatever you want with it. And it doesn't matter whether it be just the regular Sphero ball or the little dog bone looking thing or the BB-8. You can control it programmatically yourself. And I think that's been part of why Sphero's been successful. If they gave me that capability, then at $100 for sure, at $149 for sure, I'd be interested in it, because it would be an interesting thing to be able to use with the robotics teams and stuff like that, because it's a thing they're already familiar with. But in its current state, no.
Yeah, I think, you know, the other thing is that this is, not to belabor this too much longer, I'll just end it with this. When I was talking to the guy from Movie Tech, who was very nice and did a great job of demoing this to us, one competitor he mentioned was Anki Cosmo. And I think actually that's a good comparison. So are you familiar with Anki Cosmo?
Enough.
So, you know, for the audience, Anki Cosmo is another little robot. It's made by the Anki company that makes Anki Overdrive. And it's a little, I guess you could say it almost looks like a Wall-E or Johnny No. 5 type of character.
Uh-huh.
It's got a little scoop, and it's got like 3 little blocks that it plays with. And there's a number of interactive games that it plays with you, with moving the blocks around and you trying to like slap its little scoop or something. And it uses facial recognition to actually say different things to different people. You know, like you can... It knows your name and it talks to you in its weird voice or whatever.
And it's got a screen on it too. It's got a screen on it too, right?
It's got a little LED screen. I mean, it's not like a, you know, it's like a little blue screen with a few pixels. It's not like, you know, it's not like it's a monitor or something.
Right. But it's able to do like, I think they use it for like virtual eyes, right?
Yes, they do use it for virtual eyes, and I think it can be used for other things. And the facial recognition in it is really good. Like it, you know, this, I actually had problems with it scanning me. As you could see, it actually didn't recognize me when I stared. When I stared at it, it seemed to have problems. I had to try it like 5 times and took my glasses off or something before it did scan me. But even if that's correct, the only thing that you get out of it scanning you is if is in the Sentry mode, where it will say, move along, that's great. And if it doesn't scan you, then it asks for the password. And if you don't know the password, which I deliberately didn't know it, but it's like you have a choice of 5 passwords, like First Order, Kylo Ren, and a couple of others.
Okay.
So there's also no custom anything. Like you can't say like, oh, I want it to talk a particular phrase that I put in,
right?
Or I want it to recognize a particular phrase that I put in. So
I want the password to be monkey.
Yeah. You can't. Maybe someday they'll have that, because the hardware certainly is capable. Seems like it's capable of it, but you know, what are you really getting out of the facial recognition? Like at least the Cosmo, you know, the Cosmo kind of acts like a pet in some ways. Now, I personally don't really want a robot that acts like an well, it's not an anthropomorphic, like a robot that acts like a pet or acts like my buddy. I want it to just like be a tool, or, you know, something for me to fool, or, you know, to mess around with and program. But whether you view it as sort of like a toy or like an experimental thing, right now the fun factor, the like playability of this is very, very limited. You know,
for sure.
And it's hard to see where, even with improving the play and adding some programming, that it would get to like $300 worth of value, when you look at some of the things that are out there that are like real robot kits that you can learn with and really do a lot of serious programming with. You know, I think Mindstorm's a little bit more expensive than this. I think that's like $350 right now. But there are a lot of kits that are a lot less, even from Ubi Tech, which makes the Jimu robots that you build and program. So, I mean, here, just one real quick thing. I have one right behind me. So, this robot here, made by the same company, you had to build it. It has all kinds of motors and treads. You can control it. The software, which I don't have on this iPad to show you, has a block-based coding language and a lot of other stuff. You can make, with this kit that comes with it, you can actually take this apart and make 2 or 3 other things or build a custom thing. How much do you think this is worth? How much do you think this goes for?
How much do I think that goes for? I'd say, based on the fact that I know that the other little guy, I think, normally retails for $179. This doesn't have all the personality and stuff of it. Maybe $129?
$89.
Ah, that's awesome.
I mean, this is a lot of the Gmus are like 200, 300, but this is called, I think, the Builder Kit, the Builder Bot.
Okay.
It's definitely the best deal that they have. But anyway, if you think about it, you will get a lot more, like just if you were thinking about hours of your life of enjoyment and education that you would get from something that you spent money on. You spend $89 on this, and you'll get, hours and hours and hours, and if you really want to put in the time, many hours of fun and learning. You spend $300 on this, and so far there's not a lot to do with it. So that's kind of, it's interesting. I like where they're going in the sense of having a Star Wars robot and having facial recognition, but it's disappointing at this point anyway. But
sure.
Wanted to show everyone because it's pretty cool to look at, and that's my shtick for today.
So obviously you have it in your possession. There's no way we're not going to get an official review on this. When and where can we expect that?
Okay, so tomsguide.com. We will have a review up probably slightly after Christmas. My colleague Andrew Friedman started working on it. Then I took it home to test it because we were having the problems with it, and then with the app update, it worked okay. I should mention that for a list of robots that we do highly recommend, go to Tom's Guide, where we have a list of the best robot kits for kids, and this is on it near the top.
I would imagine so.
So that and Lego Boost and Lego Mindstorm, things that really allow you to build something and give you some coding experience and are extensible in lots of ways. Those are things that you're not going to buy it for your kid and they're going to put it aside after a day.
Right. Yeah, and that's really important. And unfortunately, at least for right now, with the capabilities that it has right now, it seems like this is the kind of thing that gets put away after a couple of days, and it just becomes a Stormtrooper on a shelf.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll see some great new features come to it in the future that'll make it something more worth considering. Well, as always, Avram, I always love your show and tells, especially on things that are like brand new on the shelves for a day or two.
Yep.
And we will see what we talk about next week.